Welcome back. The show Your Real Estate Today. Paul Jameson here, your host. So glad you're with us today. Thank you for spending your Saturday afternoon with us to talk real estate. I'm the owner of the Jameson Real Estate Companies. That's realty for buyers and sellers, property management for individual investors, and Jameson Property Investments. If you're interested in purchasing homes for investment to diversify your income and to grow your wealth, that's what we're here for. All right, so I'm here with Treze Stokes with Norwood Armstrong and Stokes, Jameson's preferred attorney and law firm, helping us and doing multiple closings for us. And thankful that they're with us today. We're talking about the 2040 plan, and Treze is talking about the zoning changes that have happened around, and the actual idea, Treze, according to the city of Charlotte, is they want to create more affordable housing, and they feel like this will do that by duplexes, triplexes without a zoning change, right?
That's right.
Well, here's what's interesting. When I heard about this plan, as someone who builds a few houses a year, I got excited. And the first thing that came to my mind was not to build affordable housing. And I think that's on a lot of developers' minds. Will it create some affordable housing? Maybe. I think the ADUs, as you mentioned before, will be a part of creating some housing, but that's been always more towards the Airbnb type things. I'm looking forward to building some duplexes and triplexes on some lots without having to go through a zoning change. And building isn't cheap. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I think a lot of your investors are going to take advantage of, these more inclusive zoning regulations. It's going to be more beneficial to them. What we've seen in the last several years is obviously, as you've seen, is the corner lots where a lot of folks are building the duets. So I think we'll see opportunities for builders and investors to take a lot that was traditionally zoned just for a single family house and maximize that lot to get multiple units out of it.
Yeah, that's my plan.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with it. That part, anyway, I'm good with it. So what about building heights? Is you got to keep it under 11 stories?
Yeah, so they've they kind of changed this up. The maximum 12-foot sidewall for duplexes and triplexes, they've increased that to 20. This is going to allow for more variety of duplex and triplex dwellings. And then also just with your building coverage, that's been modified too. Building coverage limits have now increased for your lots that are 10,000 square feet or less. You can build 50% maximum building coverage, and then your bigger lots of 10,000 or more are going to be 40%.
Yeah, I mean, that gives you a bigger footprint, right?
Yeah,
that'll be good. I like that. Yeah. That's great. And I think it will certainly create more housing. And a percentage of that will be affordable housing. But I think overall, my feeling is you're going to see a lot more housing, targeted at the millennials, in strategic areas around strategic amenities. And it'll certainly balloon the growth of some of the areas that have traditionally been restricted to single family, and could bring about the turn of a neighborhood faster. That's what I think.
Yeah.
What about trees?
Yeah, man. So part of the 2040 plan is to protect trees in the city. That's a main goal, especially on residential properties. City's been losing most of their trees with residential properties. Between 2012 2018, Charlotte lost 4% of its tree canopy, which equates to about 7,700 acres lost.
Oh my, that's a lot.
Yeah. So another part of this is what they call heritage trees, and the regulations behind that is a tree that's native to North Carolina, defined as a diameter measurement of 30 inches or more.
That's interesting. 30 inches or more. That almost sounds like an HOA.
It does a little bit, yes, sir.
So how do they enforce that?
So, couple different scenarios. They've broken it up into two areas where new development's happening, or in cases of very little or nothing being developed on site. So, for example, your backyard. So the backyard scenario, removal of these heritage trees will still be allowed. However, the homeowner is going to need to get a permit. They're going to need to pay a mitigation fee of $500.
Whoa.
And would have to plant a new tree.
A mitigation fee?
Mm-hmm.
What is a mitigation fee related to a tree?
Yeah, so you're just kind of mitigating your damage of taking down a tree and reducing the canopy, the tree canopy in Charlotte. So their overall goal is to reduce the loss of trees and replant new trees.
So I'm wondering what happens if you got a dead tree.
Yep, that's different. You can still cut that down. You have to get a certified arborist to determine that it is dead, or just have reasonable, adequate documentation, picture, video of the tree prior to its removal to show that it's dead.
Yeah, and it says here that if you plant each additional tree planted reduces the fee by $250.
Right.
It does it. I'm wondering if you really dig into this, because this is a summary, of course, you have to refer to the tree manual, it said in your notes, which I thought was kind of funny. So I imagine it has to be a certain kind of breed or a similar breed or something of that effect, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Yeah. So what about the land development type pieces?
Yeah, so this is where you're developing land, not with your backyard scenario. Something new with this one is the mitigation fee for tree removal increased from $1,000 to $1,500 on sites where development's occurring. And what they're going to do is basically take these funds and use it for the canopy care fund, and they're going to use those funds to replant trees throughout the city.
All right. I'm imagining that will be a fund of contention in the future. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. Knowing how things work, someone in charge of the canopy fund, it's going to be interesting,
right,
to see how that plays out and how that's monitored, and that money and actually what happens to it. That's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the way it reads is folks that cut the trees without the permits, fines of $200 per inch of tree diameter would be issued, along with the required replanting of 5 trees, and that would double if the removal of trees was deemed willful. So that should help fund the canopy fund.
Yeah, it says here in your notes, if the tree or trees were diseased or threatened the safety of the property occupants, those restrictions would not apply, the $1,000 mitigation fee. If property owner or individual remove a heritage tree without a tree work permit, fine of $200 per inch of tree diameter would be issued, along with the required replanting of 5 trees. This would double if the removal of the tree is against the ordinance is deemed willful. So if you have a dead tree, it sounds like you still got to get a permit.
So if you have a dead tree, again, you don't have to have the permit. You just need to have an arborist, certified arborist, say that it's dead, or just take a picture or video of it.
Picture or video of it laying on the ground or on your house.
Right. Or on your fence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got one of those right now. All right. All right. Well, more to come. I want to hear about floodplains when we come back and just a summary of why it's so important. We're Treze Stokes of Norwood, Armstrong, and Stokes. I'm Paul Jameson. We're talking real estate today, the show you real estate today here on News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT.